Sup, guys, and welcome back to the No Ball Knowledge podcast. Been a few weeks since our last video with the World Cup, with the Premier League starting just next week. It's time for us to get right into it. And the team that we're going to be covering today are actually the Premier League champions, Arsenal Football Club. Now, Yali, I want to get your thoughts kind of on the transfer business they've done so far, or rather lack of. Of course, the main marquee signing for them has been Bruno Guimaraes, considering the fact that they won the Premier League last season, fell short in the Champions League final. Do you think that they've done enough so far to kind of, take that next step? Or do you think that as of right now, the squad and the team overall is still wanting?
Not at all. I wouldn't say disappointed because I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I really can't feel disappointed. But as a neutral, I am pretty disencouraged by the transfers that this team did. When this team lost in the Champions League final, I feel like what everybody thought was, okay, they need to go out there and buy the best possible left winger that they need. That was pretty much the only missing piece, which is actually, in this sense, I want to give them credit because like you don't really see this often in today's like football, which is like you have a project of pretty much 8 years, right? Like usually projects, whether for good or bad, they last around 4 years. Most of the time, that's when it's going good because if it's going bad, you usually get sacked like in the first season.
Yeah.
So they actually did that. Like they gave Arteta like the piece, and he worked on a squad that pretty much was perfect, right? He has two players per position, two really good players, and he's only missing that one winger, that one difference maker. And instead of going all out, like I'm buying that one superstar to make him sort of like the face of your project, he goes out there and buys a defensive midfielder, which I can't even wrap my head around because you just bought a guy like Zubimendi last year. So what are you telling him? Yeah, he didn't have the best season, but he's a Spanish player coming to the Premier League, adapting onto that league. I mean, do people forget how like Rodri's first season where he wasn't even starting, where he was sort of adapting as well. So you go out there like you waste all this money on a position that you clearly don't need, and it's like, what are you doing? I feel like you were so close after all these years of suffering of actually working on your squad, building pretty much a perfect squad. Like, let's be honest, the squad is as close as perfect as anybody could get. And when you have two players of such high level per position, yeah, you don't go out there and waste the big money on the one guy that you need, and instead you waste the money on somebody that you don't need at all. So, I mean, I'm obviously not an Arsenal fan. I'm not in the Arsenal media. So I want to get like your thoughts on it, Javi. Is there maybe a back deal that somebody's working on? Was this always a plan, or like what is being said in the Arsenal media around this?
Well, to remind, either the viewers or first time listeners, like, I am an Arsenal fan. And this has been the story of Mikel Arteta at Arsenal Football Club, always making the signing that he should not be making. And you said it perfectly. Yeah, you're spending all this money on a position that we don't need. I have my own fan channel for Arsenal, and I asked a question. I said, "What problem does Bruno Guimaraes solve?" Because I want to ask you, after you watched that Champions League final against PSG, when Arsenal, barely had 20% possession across 120 minutes of football, did you, after that game, say, you know what Arsenal needs if they want to go to the next step? A center defensive midfielder. No one said that. No one said that at all. You said it perfectly. They need a winger, maybe another creative midfielder, because all the creativity that they have either comes from dead ball routines or from Martin Odegaard, who hasn't really been on his best. You know, and even when you look at that Champions League final specifically, look who he ended up starting the game with. He ended up starting the game with Kai Havertz up top, despite the fact that Victor Gyökeres was his marquee striker. He ended up starting with Zubimendi on the bench, even though that was his marquee holding midfield signing. Madueke, who he signed for 55 million, didn't even take the penalty. And so all the big signings that he has made over the last 2-3 years in the midfield and the attacking, phase of the pitch, you wouldn't even play them. He is either constantly misprofiling his signings, or he has not been able to actually coach and get the best out of these players. And on top of that, all of the attacking players that we've had have all gotten worse under Arteta. I've seen Bukayo Saka go backwards. I've seen Odegaard go backwards. I've seen Martinelli go backwards. I've seen all of our midfield and attacking talent actually get worse under him. And so to go into the market now and sign another defensive player when we were by far the best defensive team in football, and we still have no idea where the goals or the creativity comes from. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I used to watch every single preseason game. I haven't watched any of them. I am not excited to sit down for 90 minutes on my phone the entire time and only look up and get excited when we get a corner. I'm sorry, that's not how I want to watch football. It isn't. And frankly, I'm incredibly disappointed. And one of the things that really upsets me is that when I look across the Premier League landscape, we have a new manager over at City, a new manager over at Liverpool, a new manager over at Tottenham, a new manager over at Man United, and I think Chelsea as well, if I haven't mentioned them. Like, you have brand new projects compared to, Arteta, who's been there for 7, 8 years. This should be our Premier League to dog walk. We should really be looking at trying to get again to that Champions League final and taking that next step. And I can't sit here and say, hey, yeah, we've taken a step in the right direction. We're a better team than we were last year, and we have become a better technical team where we can now face a PSG and actually have more control of the game. I can't say that. And so I'm very disappointed in that because I don't think that we've taken the right steps, and there's no links at all apart from Vinicius to any other attacking player. And so that just leaves me heavily disappointed. And so I kind of want to ask you, like, what are the expectations for Arsenal this season? Like, do you look at it based off the transfers that they make? Do you look at it based off of like the rest of the competition? Do you look at it as like how many years we're deep into this project? Like, from an outside looking in, I kind of want to get your idea in terms of like what is a reasonable expectation? What is success for Arsenal this year?
I think, I mean, to be honest, there's not, in my opinion, there's nothing to be successful about it. I honestly do not give them a chance in the Champions League. They showed it last year. And so that's pretty much the only way that you could sort of improve on your season, right? Because like you already won the league last year. I do think that they're favorites to win the league, but I mean, I think more than anything is the fact that I'm like you said, there's so many like new managers, but I don't know. I'm so underwhelmed with this team. Like it was there. Like all you need, and like you said, like the only true link was Vinicius, which honestly it felt more like it was him using them to get a bigger contract. But like once again, I'm not asking you to go out there and get Vinicius or get Kvaratskhelia or get like the top two guys. But I mean, you have to go out there and at least try to get like a Barcola or get like links to somebody like that. Somebody that could come in and make a difference for you. And like you said, like you're not even excited to watch preseason because now, like I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Like what is going on with Zubimendi? Like what is the actual situation of that guy? Because obviously like Declan Rice like fits himself. You just paid what 80 million maybe like for Guimaraes, so that guy has to play. So now Zubimendi, it's a bench player. So I mean, for me, I think just success is gonna be them going like back to back in the Premier League, and I don't even think anybody's gonna give them credit for that because it's one of those things where, yeah, if you win, it's gonna be oh wow, you were supposed to because you were going up against inferior teams that all of them had like a brand new manager, but if you lose, it's like a big failure. So it's like these guys, I'm sorry, but they are in a no-win situation unless you win the Champions League. And let's be honest, you're not gonna win the Champions League with Kai Havertz, Madueke, and Bukayo Saka. Like that's not gonna happen. You need to go out there and like at the end of the day, you need to have a team that score goals. Like Arsenal's defense is not gonna be better than they were last year. If I'm not mistaken, like thinking the whole Champions League they gave up like 6 goals or something ridiculous like that, and they still couldn't win. So from that standpoint, that's where I feel it's coming up on the like the season, pretty much a no win season for them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's we have to win by default, and like you said, we're not gonna get a lot of credit if we do. We're gonna get the criticism if we don't. It's like really, realistically speaking, like the best I could hope for is maybe a domestic double, a league and an FA Cup. I think that's what would be the benchmark for me as like another step in the right direction. But just very disappointing to feel like we made it to a Champions League final. We paid our dues. Let's get back there again, especially when the rest of the footballing world, Bayern Munich is not at the level that they used to be. Neither is Real Madrid. Barcelona is still trying to find like their missing piece to be there. The time is now, and these windows in football are so short. And if you don't take advantage of them, then like when will you? Guardiola's no longer there. Klopp's no longer there. Like now is the time to establish a new dynasty, and it doesn't even feel like we're making the right moves in the market to become that, and that's very disappointing. So, would love to get y'all's thoughts on what you think of Arsenal. What did you make of their season last year? Is Mikel Arteta still the right guy for them? What are the expectations? What does success mean for them? And how do you feel about their transfer business so far? Are they maybe just one player away from becoming the next best thing? Let us know. Would love to hear your thoughts. And we're going to cover many teams as the videos come and go. So, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.